In 1977, a young Japanese astronomer clinically died for 40 minutes. What he saw during that time wasn't a dream, it was a detailed journey through death, time, space, and ancient history. He returned with claims that challenge science, myth, and memory. This is the story of Tsuruhiko Kiuchi. Tsuruhiko Kiuchi was only 22 when a rare intestinal condition led to sudden cardiac arrest. Despite medical efforts, he remained unresponsive for 40 minutes with no heartbeat, no signs of life, a duration that typically results in irreversible brain damage. But something extraordinary happened. Despite clinical death, Kiuchi later recalled watching the entire scene unfold from outside his body. Kiuchi's return to awareness began not in his body, but above it. He found himself in the hospital room, observing his lifeless body on the bed. His mother was crying. His father stood beside her. He distinctly heard her say, "He's dead." "I realized I had no physical form," Kiuchi later wrote. "I could see, hear, smell, pass through walls, feel air and temperature, but couldn't touch or taste." Then he found himself in a vast meadow where 5 figures in white robes stood waiting. One who stepped forward was his late aunt, whom he'd never met or seen in photographs. Kiuchi discovered that his thoughts could instantaneously transport him to different locations. Thinking of his mother placed him beside her as she made a phone call. Thinking of his sister transported him to her car en route to the hospital. These were not hallucinations. They were specific and timed, verified later by his family. He began to wonder, was time itself a mental construct? Testing his newfound abilities, Kiuchi attempted to revisit his past. He observed a childhood incident when he saved his sister from falling stones, and realized the voice that warned her was his own from the future. He also glimpsed himself decades later, lecturing at a university. At the time, he had no academic goals. Years later, the vision came true. To test whether his travels were real, Kiuchi went 500 years into the past. There, he attached to a person's consciousness and carved 2 characters, his name, into a temple pillar. After waking, his first mission was to visit that exact temple. He carved his name 500 years ago, and found it upon waking. Characters were there, faded but real. The temple's priests recorded the event in the 15th century logs, describing the characters as a divine message. Driven by curiosity, Kiuchi extended his journey even further, some 15,000 years into Earth's past. He saw a global flood, not divine, caused by a comet composed of ice. Earth's gravity pulled water vapor from the comet, raising oceans by 2,000 meters. Before this deluge, Kiuchi described an advanced civilization, what we might call Atlantis. These people, he claimed, were taller than modern humans, lived for centuries, and possessed technologies now lost to us. Even more extraordinary, Kiuchi reported seeing dinosaurs, but not as we imagine them. According to him, they were peaceful and domesticated, used for travel, much like horses are today. Tsuruhiko Kiuchi didn't just survive death, he returned with a message. That time, memory, and myth may all be part of the same living continuum. His story remains unprovable, but unforgettable. What if the past is closer than we think? Like, share, and subscribe for more stories exploring the edge between science, mythology, and reality.